The most beautiful and the most famous poem of all time is in our Bible. To learn more, stay tuned to Reach Out and Live. Welcome to Reach Out and Live, a program of music, scripture, and sermon, brought to you each week by the many viewers and members of First-Plymouth Church, Lincoln, Nebraska. Hey, I'm Jim, minister at First-Plymouth. Now today we have the UNL choir. We're also in one of the most beautiful moments in our Bible, the love poem in 1 Corinthians 13. So get your heart ready for worship. Let's join the congregation.
If I speak in the tongues of humans and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of wrongs. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now, we see only a reflection, as in a mirror, but then we will see face to face. Now only in part, but then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now, oh now, faith, hope, and love remain, these three. And the greatest of these is love.
The Apostle Paul was a big personality. He was brilliant. He was filled with the Christ Spirit, but he also could be prickly about defending his honor. He could get angry. You should read him lambasting the Galatians. And depending on how you interpret just a few sentences throughout his letters, he has done real harm to women and to gay people. But he's a big personality. And there's a part of him that is so pure and so beautiful. In 1 Corinthians 13, he suddenly rhapsodizes in a love poem. And this has become the most famous love poem in humanity's history. Consider there are over 2 billion Christians around the globe. This poem has been read for 2,000 years all around the world. It's the love poem of the planet Earth. And we need a love poem right now. You sense that too, don't you? We need a love poem right now. Because we're listening to the noisy gong of political disputes, the clanging cymbal of the social media feeds and the fire hose of news every day. We need a love poem. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not irritable or resentful or rude. Love does not insist upon its own way. Love takes no record of wrongs. Love hopes all things, believes all things. Love never ends. Our world needs a love poem, something to make us more gentle, more loving. It must be hard to be a poem because you're so easily misunderstood, and people can miss your beauty. Actually, that's why it's hard to be a person, too. You're so easily misunderstood, and people can miss your beauty. So it's hard to be both a poem or a person. You see, you could misunderstand this poem. It takes part in a daring gambit. It takes the risk that you fully understand the word love. If you don't understand the word love in its fullness, you won't understand the poem. And this is risky because we use love in our culture in such trivializing ways. We make it so superficial. I love pizza. I love my brand of toothpaste. We superficialize that word. I love Thai food. I have a real relationship with Thai food. I really do. But we use that word as just a mere emotion or something we like. We enervate the word. We dilute it so much. When this poem speaks about love, it's talking about something that covers a vast sweep. Love is the most basic little actions between people. Be gentle, be kind, be patient, but then it connects those basic everyday actions with something so cosmic and essential that it's the one thing that never ends. Love is the essence of all things. In the year 385 AD, Plato wrote the Symposium. And it's set as a series of dialogues between some Athenians sitting around having a meal, and a symposium is deep conversation, is what that means. And they're engaging in conversations about love. And then at one point, Socrates takes over and shares what he's learned about something he calls the ladder of love. That your whole life, the purpose of your whole life is to climb this ladder of love to fuller understandings of love. The sole purpose of your life is to grow in understanding love. And he describes how we start early in our lives. Maybe we love physical beauty, but we must climb the ladder and learn to love their soul. Climb the ladder of love. And when we're adults in this society, we begin to love our laws and institutions that beautiful souls have made. But we must climb the ladder and learn to love beauty itself. And then ultimately, to love love. All of life is our attempts to climb the ladder of love. And this poem is taking you up the ladder of love. We need a love poem right now. I'm worrying about the state of love in our world. There's a lot of arrogance, rudeness, boastfulness. We need a love poem. And our world can take love and twist it. You see, a poem puts me in touch with the tragic. Poetry can do this. I think there's a tragic aspect to love these days. Love is being manipulated in our world. It can be twisted. Let me speak about love in our world. Have you heard of the moral foundations theory? It's this basic idea that human beings over a long period of time have evolved to 6 basic moral intuitions. That over time in society, human beings across all societies basically now have 6 basic moral intuitions, or what I would call loves, and that every moral decision they make is based on how they're weighting these 6 basic intuitions. Number 1, care for the vulnerable. Number 2, fairness to all peoples. Number 3, reverence for the sacred. Number 4, respect for authority. Number 5, protection of individual liberties. And number 6, loyalty to whatever group you're part of. Loyalty. And in any moral decision, a human being, they love those 6 things. They're all good things, but they develop some calculus. Which ones do they weight more? And so after reams of studies, they found out that liberals in our society, liberals politically or in manner of thought, they weight most heavily the first 2. Care for the vulnerable, and fairness to all peoples. They also weight the other 4. Those are wonderful things, but lower. Liberals put the first 2 much higher. And then after reams of studies, they found out that conservatives in our society, they weigh them all equally. Well, that sounds like a good thing, and prioritizing the first 2 sounds like a good thing, but then the world creates this division, a culture war I've been living with my whole adult life between liberals and conservatives. They share the same loves. They want the same good things, but it turns into this clash. Love can be perverted in our world. We need this poem. Love holds hands, doesn't form fists. We need to hold hands for a common good. We love the same things, just differently. Let me speak about love in a way, because love will manipulate, the world will manipulate love. After World War I, they analyzed the battles, and there was a major problem for the military. They discovered that most soldiers in World War I never fired their weapon. It's hard to get a person to fire a weapon at another person. I mean, there is an abiding goodness in all of us. You don't want to shoot a weapon at another person. They found out most of the soldiers never fired their weapon. Well, this is a problem if you want to engage in military endeavors. And so they set about trying to solve this problem. How do you get a human being to shoot a weapon at somebody? Well, how? They found that if you create enough unit cohesion, if they love each other, if you love your brothers and sisters in your unit, you will defend them no matter what. Do you feel the tragic nature of that? The world will manipulate love. The love of a unit is a beautiful thing, but the world will use it for its purposes. Andrew Sullivan has a podcast, and a Catholic theologian was on it, and at one point Sullivan asked him, "How would you sum up all the teachings of Jesus?" Father Allison thought about it for a moment, and he said, "How would I sum up all the teachings of Jesus? 3 things. Do not be afraid. Imitate me. Imitate Jesus. And forgive each other so that you will be forgiven." And our world is so fearful now. And it's only love that can cast out fear. You see, fear is the most powerful drug known to humanity. If you make a person fearful, you can control them. And if you listen to what's happening in our world, people on both sides of it are creating a lot of fear. And they can control us if they create enough fear. Only love casts out fear. So Jesus tells us again and again, like 7 times in the gospel, do not be afraid. Do not fear. And when he says, imitate me, you know he is the way of love. You know it. You don't need any biblical scholarship to know his great commandment is love neighbor, love God, love each other as I have loved you. Do not be afraid, imitate me. Forgive each other so that you can be forgiven. We need this love poem. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. I have a dream of getting a congregation to sing Foreigner. This is like 1984 British-American rock band, and it was my song in college, and I have a dream. Could I get us? So help me when I get to the refrain. In my life, there's been heartache and pain. I don't know if I can face it again. I can't stop now. I've traveled so far to change this lonely life. I want to know what love is. Let me hear it. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. Oh, sing it. I know you can show me. One more time, let it rip. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I know you can show me. Thank you for fulfilling my dream. And we can know what love is because He has shown us. We can know what love is because Jesus Christ is this fullest manifestation of love on our earth. We can know what love is, and we can feel it. And so, my friends, hear the straight-on essential aspect of this poem, because religion is always about pointing to a greater love. That's what religion is about. We turn religion into something complicated, a bunch of doctrinaire or theological beliefs or a bunch of rituals or festivals. It's all great, but it's all pointing to a greater love. You know, the Buddha taught us that, Buddha said, when I point at the moon, look at the moon, not my finger. Don't look at me when I'm teaching you. Look at what I'm pointing to. And that's what Jesus Christ wants of us. Christ is pointing to a greater love. Our whole religion is pointing to a greater love. Religion is love. And this poem is trying to help you understand the sweep of that word. That love, you have to draw closer to your loved ones. You have to express this patience and kindness and gentleness. You must do that because it's that connects you to the essence of the universe. It's our scripture that says no one has ever seen God, but when we love each other, God abides in us, and God's love is perfected in us. That when we love in the everyday, you are placed at the center of the cosmos. This poem, we need it. We need the straight-on optimism of this poem. This poem knows no fear. It says, love never ends. It did not say love wins. I actually hate that phrase, love wins. Love knows no beating someone else or one-upsmanship. Love doesn't win. Love holds on. Love never lets go. Love outlasts everything. Love never ends. Beloved, love one another as I have loved you. For no one has seen God, but when we love each other, God abides in us, and God's love is perfected in us. For God is love. Beloved, hurry to love one another. I think it's awesome that we could worship together. I hope it has lifted your spirits. Do you know you could join our worship services live every Sunday morning at 9, 10:30, and 11:59 on Facebook, YouTube, or our website. And all of that is made possible by people like you who offer gifts. If you believe that an open-minded, loving congregation can help change the world, then consider making a donation. It will help us increase the love of God and neighbor in both Nebraska and the world. Last year, First-Plymouth Church, with your help, bought and forgave over $600,000 of medical debt for struggling families. The FP Just Neighbors initiatives help with the costs of laundry at local laundromats and help fill our neighbors' gas tanks at special volunteer events. And every month, First Plymouth members help feed the neighborhood by acting as a food drop location for the Lincoln Food Bank. There are so many ways you could help us help others. If you would like to join our Sunday live streams or just learn more about our church, go to firstplymouth.org or find us on Facebook and YouTube. And so Plato's Symposium tries to take you up the ladder of love until you have a fully elevated understanding of its depth, its essential aspect. Well, so too our Bible is trying to help you grow in love. So take that spirit, take that love into the world around you, reach out and live.
Tune in again next week for another edition of Reach Out and Live.